Hey, it's James, Father's Rights and Resources, hashtag how I got custody. So I got a question on YouTube. It's a fair, sincere question. A guy asks, after going through my videos, and how I talk about how I got custody, he wanted clarification. Did my baby's mom try and fight me for full custody and try and take the child away from me? Or did she just not want the kid and she just surrendered and gave up that responsibility? And he said there's a big difference between the two. Well, here's the thing. My baby's mom started, and this is answered, maybe he hasn't watched a lot of my videos, but this is answered over and over. If you watch some of my videos, it's answered, but I'm going to consolidate everything in this video. So, first and foremost, I started off going to court right when my daughter was a few weeks old, and the mother was trying to get a restraining order against me so I couldn't contact her, which would prevent me from ever seeing the kid as long as the restraining order is in place. So at the very beginning, yes. But like most women, it was just an emotional reaction. She was mad. She was hurt that I didn't marry her. She was mad that we were arguing. There's a tug of war with her fat, ugly sisters who never had a boyfriend and her controlling mother, the maternal grandmother. And then I'm nagging her about wanting to see my kid. And then I'm sitting in a parking lot doing this, and this guy just almost ran into some pedestrian because he's not paying attention. So my baby's mom tried to get a restraining order. Then when we went to family court, or during the restraining order, she's like, I'm not trying to deprive the child of a father. He could see her, but she's breastfeeding, so only a couple hours at a time. So at first, she let me have, when we were getting along the first few weeks of her life, out of the hospital. I stayed the night in the hospital for a week. Again, maybe I should tell my whole story, but I stayed the night in the hospital. We got along for a couple weeks. She brought her over like 3 times a week for a couple hours while she's an infant. I'm working 2 jobs, so I'm working with her. And then it gets hostile and her sisters get butt hurt. And because her sisters don't like me, they want to use the child as punishment. So restraining order. So yes, she's trying to get control and custody. But most women would do that out of immediate reaction. Most women don't think long term about the repercussions about what they're doing. They react emotionally in the moment. They will call the cops and press charges for you and claiming you committed domestic violence when you didn't, because she's mad at you in that moment. And she's so stupid she doesn't realize, oh, there's a criminal case? Oh, you might go to jail falsely? Oh, well, let me drop the charges. Then the prosecutor takes over because the prosecutor thinks she's a victim, and you're bullying her into dropping the charges. And they want their Violence Against Women Act bonus money that Joe Biden, the VAWA is, the sellout product of Joe Biden when he's a senator in 94. Right around the same time, he brags about it and he wrote the crime bill. So he's imprisoning men, fathers, and husbands, and he's imprisoning people of color through the crime bill. It's all orchestrated. So my baby's mom was saying, she's trying to play, look good to the court. And say, well, she's breastfeeding, so only a couple hours. I didn't see my kid for 40 days. So that pretty much tells you she's trying to keep the kid from me and she wants custody. Then we go to family court. She proposes an every other weekend parenting plan. I propose that since we live 3 blocks away, that I get Saturday, she gets Sunday, and then we flip-flop the next weekend because we're 3 blocks away. We're within walking distance. And then I provide daycare for her because I work at night while the mother's at work. And she complained to the judge that I want to see my child every single day. Like, who the hell complains about that? So she didn't want equal custody. Then we go to court, and she's fighting against me having 50-50. And I get 0 visitation. Then I appeal to a judge. Then I get 5 days a week. Then she violates the court order and gets found in contempt. It pretty much sounds like she doesn't want me to have custody. She doesn't even want me to have my court order time. She's a control freak. So, then she wants to move to Los Angeles with her fat, ugly sister who's pursuing her acting career at age 33. Now, there's a few success stories like that, but, you know, it failed. So she wants to be with the sister that she's codependent on and be with her mother who's moving down with that sister. So she's kind of tied between that. But like I've said over and over in videos, over and over. See, I think this question is sincere, but at the same time, you want an excuse that James had it easy. Or you want to say, oh, you had it easy because of this situation. My situation is worse and hard. No, it's not. I've helped 300 other guys. I stopped counting 300 that got full custody when the mother didn't want him to have anything at all. Supervised visitation, false. I've seen it all. False allegations of molestation. Had a guy who got custody. He wasn't a pussy like most guys, and he fought for a decade. They were in and out of court. They had like 4 different modifications. He kept at it and kept at it. And he had 50-50 for a while. Then he got full custody when his kids were 15 and 11. So the fact that what I did worked for me and has worked for every guy that applied this stuff, and not every guy got full custody, but every guy did better when they fought. Here's the thing. Now, you need to comprehend this stuff because people should be able to grasp this watching my videos. But people don't want to do their own deductive reasoning, slap stuff together, and think hard or pay attention. 95% of court cases settle out of court. If you're in criminal court, 95% of cases, the defendant cops a plea. There's innocent people who cop a plea to probation because they're afraid of the bullying and strong-arming of the prosecutor and that they might possibly get convicted. Or they get worn down by the system, they surrender right before trial. Or a prosecutor will drop a case right before trial because they haven't been able to get you to confess. I know a guy who was in prison, jail in Arizona, and on day 364, they let him go because they would have had to charge him with something because, you know, if he was in there for a year, they would have had to charge him with something higher. He was charged with domestic violence. They came to him several times, and he said, no, I'm not doing it, no, I'm not doing it. And then one day he just walked out because he wouldn't cop a plea. Now, if every dad did that, they would have to drop 99% of the cases because they don't have any evidence. Just guys are scared, or they're total pussies, or they're legitimately afraid of the system railroading them, and they don't ever push the issue. They just quit right away. So, when the government sued Microsoft for, what's it called? The government sued Microsoft for antitrust suit. I think they won, but in a case like that, sometimes people just settle out of court because they don't want the bad publicity or they know they might lose. So, the guy also asked the question, did you go to battle against somebody who wanted custody? I went to battle for 7 months intensely. Everybody, oh, it's only 7 months, you had it easy. You know, the people who say that, F you, you're stupid and you're retarded. If I go into a boxing match and I beat the snot out of somebody, or an MMA match and they tap out, it's because I'm beating the snot out of them and they surrender. That stuff happens. Just because I beat the snot out of somebody, they surrendered, doesn't mean that I didn't have a tough fight. That's stupid. So, 95% of the time, people who win, and it's usually the mother, they beat the person down and beat them down and beat them down. Motion for supervised visitation, motion for contempt, motion to pay attorney fees, motion for this, motion for that. And then the dad surrendered because she beat him down. I did this to the mother and beat her down until she surrendered. It doesn't make it less of a battle. You guys need to wake the hell up on that stupid bullcrap. That's how women always win. Most guys settle out of court. That's how I won, and that's how thousands of other guys won when they get on the offensive. So the method still works. Why do you care how it works?